Good afternoon. Welcome to concert, finally, at our new space. We're glad you're here. Thank you for coming today. Obviously, a lot still happening in this room, but we're so thrilled to be able to offer this concert today. And we're excited to have Chuck and Randy back with us. Please note on the back of your bulletin already, you can see all the dates for 2023, and we had to miss some dates this past year. Those concerts will be in next year. We'll do 7 concerts next year here in this space, and we're excited about that, and you can see all of those on the back. And it's so great to have Chuck and Randy lead us back into this space. We've not been in this space for 6 months. We weren't real sure that we were going to be in here today about a week ago, but we're so excited to be back in and so excited to have Chuck Seipp and Randy Sheets as they lead us in a winter concert. So welcome them now to the stage.
Thank you so much. Isn't it great to be back in this space? We're always excited to be with you, but today I think it's even more special since it's the first time back in the room. And Chuck said that the color was amazing. It's called agreeable gray. So, really, really good work. I know everyone at the church has been involved in this project is really worn out, but it's almost ready to come to fruition, and it's really, truly going to be wonderful. So, thank you for having us here and using us as guinea pigs. So, the Christmas season, it's so appropriate that we begin with Bach, and you'll see that we're going to end with Handel, two of the greats, with some of the greatest Christmas music ever. We opened with the exuberant and joyful chorus from the Christmas Oratorio. We'll continue now with a very simple pastoral setting of the beautiful tune in Dulce Jubilo, which translates roughly, "Good Christians all rejoice." And we'll finish the Bach set with a powerful sinfonia from Cantata 142, "Unto us a child is born."
To echo what Randy just said, it's so wonderful to be back here and see so many great faces in this beautiful building, and it's just unbelievable, all the wonderful things that are going on here. I don't have my jacket here because I forgot it at home. So it's the first time that's happened, so I know it'll never happen again, right? Randall had a jacket, an extra jacket in the car, but unfortunately the sleeves were a little bit too short. So we decided to go without. So anyway, thank you for understanding my blunder here, but it is so great to be here even without my jacket. O Holy Night has been heralded as among the most beautiful of all Christmas carols. Composed by Adam in 1847 to a French poem by Placide Cappeau. Now, Cappeau was asked to write a poem for an organ dedication in his hometown, and he was inspired on a trip that he was taking to Paris to write this work. And after arriving to Paris, he came across Adolphe Adam, who happened to be at the peak of his career in writing music. He was inspired by the poem, and he wrote the music to this beautiful hymn, this beautiful song. It received its premiere in 1847 at the Midnight Christmas Mass, and it has the distinction of being the first ever played on a Christmas radio broadcast in 1906. The beautiful O Holy Night.
Alexander Guillemot was at the center of the greatest organists and composers of his time in Paris. He was the organist of La Trinité for over 30 years. He succeeded the great Widor as professor of organ at the Paris Conservatory. His most famous student was none other than Marcel Dupré, whose career he championed. He knew Dupré from the time he was a small boy and always said that this would be one of the greatest organists and composers ever, and he was spot on. Guillemot was also a very prolific composer in his own right. He wrote large-scale works, large sonatas for the organ, and but there's a particular set, Opus 60, of 20 Noels, or Christmas carols, from nationalities from all over the world. So I'll play for you today a really beautiful Polish Christmas carol that's always been one of my favorite tunes, Infant Holy, Infant Lowly. And the good thing about playing variations, even though this is a fairly short set, is that they allow you to show off a lot of different colors in an organ in a very short amount of time. So I hope you enjoy one of the most beautiful Christmas carols, Infant Holy, Infant Lowly.
The Latin chant text O Magnum Mysterium was compiled more than 1,000 years ago, inspiring composers across the centuries. The text praises the Virgin Mary, her role as a humble human being who gives birth to Jesus, the incarnate of the divine. The Los Angeles Masters Chorale commissioned USC professor of composition Morton Lawrenson to write the setting of O Magnum Mysterium nearly 30 years ago, and it immediately launched his career as a serious composer. To quote a review after that first performance, Morton Lawrenson's O Magnum Mysterium transcends boundaries of religious belief and resonates deeply to the core of the listener. And to quote the composer, the piece proves itself to be relevant to all seasons. Morton Lawrenson's O Magnum Mysterium.
Denis Bédard is a contemporary Canadian composer of a great catalog of organ and choral works. He studied in Paris, studied in Amsterdam. He sort of bucked the establishment by starting his own publishing company, and his works through his own publishing company are quite great in number and performed not only in this country and Canada, but throughout the world. You heard the In Dulce Jubilo setting by Bach earlier. This set of variations is based on the same melody, but Denis Bédard brings a very contemporary, almost jazz-like quality in terms of his harmonies, and really explores, he really melds a lot of the modern sounds and idioms with the traditional classical tunes and historical melodies that we've come to love. And he does, after an introduction and the first variation, you'll hear the second variation of this work is reminiscent or maybe an homage to the Bach work that we played earlier.
Away in a Manger is one of the most popular Christmas carols, and the great majority of the early publications attribute the words to the German Protestant reformer Martin Luther. Many have titled the carol Luther's cradle song for his children, but the carol now is thought to be of more American in origin. The original two stanzas probably originated from German Lutherans in Pennsylvania in about 1885. In spite of the controversies of the origin, this little gem of the season is still sung each year with joy, and always look forward to performing this beautiful arrangement by Dan Marvin, Away in a Manger.
So the last set of pieces that we play are all by Handel. We're going to play 3 selections from the iconic Messiah, Rejoice Greatly, which has some fun interaction between the trumpet and the organ, changing melodies back and forth. We will then, I'll then do a very short, small organ selection of the Pastoral Symphony, and then we will close with none other than the Alleluia Chorus. After that, we will then do a magnificent setting of Joy to the World, also by Handel. And this is set by Tim Zimmerman, who did lots and lots of arranging for a group called the King's Brass, which you may have heard of. And so we are very excited to close with 4 Handel pieces, and we look forward to speaking with you afterwards. So we look forward to greeting you. And if you'd like to take us home with you, you can do that too, via some CDs and thumb drives we have back there. Again, just thank you all so much for being here. Dan, thank you all for inviting us. And we look forward to announcing in January a full-fledged concert series for next year. We had to end up canceling the September concert. I believe it was September with the great organist from West Point. So we're going to put him on the beginning of the series for next year. So we're going to end up with 7 concerts next year. So we've been through a real drought here between COVID and everything else that's been going on. And so we look forward to really having a full-fledged program next year for you. So those brochures should be out, I think, by the end of January. Again, thanks for being here.
I just have to echo just a little bit what Randy said. But first, I think Randy does such a terrific job of putting together a concert series for your community here in Culpeper. And it's amazing the variety that he gets in here. And Pastor Dan Carlton is such a beacon for this community. What he's doing to this place and the support that he has, I know he does not sleep. No, the only time that his family sees him is when they're probably at church with him. He is the busiest person I know, and he's working so hard for this community, all the wonderful things that are happening here. It has just been a pleasure to know Pastor Dan Carlton for so many years, and your support and what you do for the community and the support that you have of your members here at this church, totally amazing. So this is the place in the area, and because of Dan Carlton and all the support that he gets with the folks here at Culpeper Baptist and the surrounding area. So thank you so much for coming. It's always a pleasure being here, and we do look forward to speaking with you after the concert.